Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning into Otaku Talk. Today, we will be talking about Chapter 1006 of One Piece. Man, there's a lot going on. We're not so much action oriented right now, even though there are some fights happening. But this right now is Oda setting up some chess pieces and just moving everyone to different places and kind of scattering the story a bit. And when I say scattering the story, I don't mean like he's like going off like the rails or anything like that. I just mean like we have a bunch of things going on simultaneously as Oda fashion, and it's up to us to kind of piece together what's happening, where everyone is, and the potential for like what's to come. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into it.
頑張れそう頑張れ諦めないで口笛吹きさ歩き出そうよ Going now.
So, chapter opens with Yamato, Shinobu, and Momo escaping the storeroom. We immediately hear that broadcasted over by the Marys. Still interested in the Marys. I'm still curious about how they work. Pretty sure that the animal counterparts are the cyborgs and not so much the humans, but they could both be cyborgs. Anytime we get information like that, I just want to know more. I love information in manga, and so like I said, One Piece is one of those series I will constantly keep for every question it answers, it gives you like 10 new questions, and that's part of the appeal of it. But it can be frustrating in moments like this where there's so much going on at the same time. There's so many answers I want to so many different questions, and I know that it's going to take like either the next chapter or 50 chapters before I get those answers. I don't think anything in particular in regards to the marriage and stuff will take that long, but you guys get my point. So basically, we're left with Sanji finally getting freed from not Big Mom, Big Maria. Big Maria. So right now, and I really like after this video, I think I'm going to just like study like geography, the map of both Onigashima and Kaido's castle, because like there is just so much going on right now. But Brooke and Robin are over with Big Maria in the women's trouble room or whatever, right? So they're in the main center. I believe that's on the third floor. Now Sanji is finally out and about, and he's trying to figure out, okay, what can I do to be helpful? I've been MIA. I've been held, prisoner. It doesn't really matter what other people think, but other people think I'm, a fool, I'm a clown. Like it's time for me to contribute. And like I know a lot of Sanji fans out there are blown because it does seem like time and time again Sanji out of the monster trio is the one that gets shafted repeatedly. Like, no offense, it seems that way. Personally, I still think Sanji is a G, but when things like this happens, it just gives the Zoro fans, and yes, I am more so a Zoro fan than Sanji. He's not saying anything wrong with Sanji. It's just I just like that character a little bit more, and he has a lot more cool moments. And Oda just seems to prop him up a lot, not even slightly, a lot more than Sanji. And so, unfortunately, that's where my loyalty lies. But yeah, just stuff like that really gives Zoro his shine. But something people have been talking about for a long time now is how Sanji isn't supposed to be the one that stands out. Zoro stands out. He's that cool, suave, not really suave, I would say, but he's that cool, like, stereotypical archetypal samurai, no nonsense, like, I'll cut you. Like, he just gives off all like, that all the anime vibes of like great swordsman and stuff like that. And people have always argued, well, that's not Sanji's job. Sanji's job is to be more, low key with it. Like, I forget, someone did a comparison, but they're like, if Zoro is this idea of a man, let's say if Zoro's more what are the Western cartoons? Clint Eastwood. if Zoro's more Clint Eastwood than like or something like that, then Sanji's more James Bond. He's more covert, more Black Ops stuff. And I can see that to a degree. People say that people have been bringing up the whole Mr. Prince thing and stuff like that, Stealth Black and stuff like that. So we have been seeing, things on that level, and like Sanji has shown time and time again to be quite a like intellectual individual when it comes to like reconnaissance and intel gathering. So like I can see the argument that like he's not supposed to be like out there like that. He's supposed to be the guy that like handles situations like from not from afar but like in multifaceted ways, and he's also the kind to show up immediate like as soon as he's needed. So basically right now we're trying to figure out where is he going. He asks where the forbidden storage room is. They tell him it's close to the front entrance, right? So he can either go back to the front entrance of Kaido's castle, or he can go right under where the rest of them are fighting in the basement to the store to the basement to where the scabbards are. Now, where do you think he's gonna go? I racked my mind. I was thinking about, okay, where is everyone? Nami and Usopp are busy fighting Ulti and Page 1. Brook and Robin are busy fighting Big Black Maria. Then you have Frankie is fighting Sasaki, and then you have Jinbei fighting Who's Who. And so everyone is pretty much tied. Everyone is pretty much tied up. There's no one really able to send to do any more than what everyone's doing right now. And so part of me is like, okay, he has two options, and because of both options, two different scenarios will come out. The first scenario is he goes to help the scabbards. It's not a out there outlandish idea that he's going to help the scabbards, simply because, I'm sure he's aware that they're injured. Like, that's been made fully clear, and I'm not sure if he was able to hear what Jack was saying. I don't know if Jack was relaying his message over the broadcast with the Marys as well, but he may know that Jack is on his way to fight the weakened scabbards, and so he is needed there, right? And so if he goes there, then we're gonna get this fight between Sanji and Jack, and which would be a pretty fair fight because we have the third strongest, highest ranking member of the the Beast Pirate crew, and then we have Sanji, who's like the quote unquote third. I've talked about this in other videos. I kind of don't know with Jinbei where Sanji lies. A lot of people think that the hierarchy is still the same. I am not quite sure about that. I'm just going to say that. Jinbei was a Shichibukai. I know that to some people that means nothing. It's just a title. Also, Shichibukai had such a huge range and like just gap in their levels. Like some Shichibukai were way stronger than others. So that's something to consider. But like I said, as of right now, I'm not really saying that Sanji is stronger or weaker. I'm just saying it's not definitive that he is in that third place slot at the moment. Of course, after the series of fights, we will know a little bit more, especially if Sanji is going to fight Jack, because in the hierarchy, you can assume that Jack is higher than who Jinbei is fighting. But then again, what if Jinbei is easily able to just kind of brush off Who's Who, handle him real quick while Sanji suffers with Jack? Does that mean that Jinbei outclasses Who's Who so much and would have had an easier time with Jack? Or does it just mean that Jack is a strong opponent who gave Sanji a hard time? These are the things that happen in One Piece that make you really think and make it really hard to power scale sometimes. And I know a lot of people hate power scaling. I don't think it's something that has to be necessarily like done to the maximum, but I think there is a certain level of having to know, okay, like what levels are people on? You have to know exactly like what levels people are on. Speaking of which, I really have a lot to say about one particular person in this chapter, but we'll get to it. So yeah, the first option is he's going to go find the scabbards, run into Jack. We have a weakened Jack, a weakened Sanji. It's a fair fight. Boom, boom, boom. I think it's classic. I think it's clean. I think it gives a lot of us what we want. It introduces Sanji to whoever the female taking care of them are. So it could either be Lady Toki, or it could be Momo's sister. So lot of options. I'm leaning more towards Momo's sister. We haven't seen her in a while. However, I do believe that Lady Toki will play a substantial role in this arc simply because we haven't seen her. We don't know what her purpose is. She was sent to the future for a certain reason, but we don't know what that reason is. She did send the Scabbards into the future to save Wano, but that wasn't her main mission. You guys have to remember, she is from the Void Century. She's what, like, what is that, over 800 years ago? Right? I believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the Void Century is over 800 years ago. So she's from there. So whatever she came to do hasn't been fulfilled yet. I think, there was a little stopgap when she met Odin, fell in love, had a kid, and, she may be like, maybe shirked her responsibilities a bit. I don't know the whole story. So, I can't say too much. But yeah. So I'll leave it at that. So that option, we get a fight with Jack. We get an introduction of Sanji to a beautiful woman. And that would be really interesting. The other one we get is we get him meeting Yamato for the first time. And then seeing Momo inside Yamato's shirt. And part of me is like, I think that's the answer. I think that's the route, just because which is funnier? The second one, obviously, him freaking out about how like attractive Yamato is. She's clearly attractive. The type of top she's wearing is kind of revealing. And then to top it all off, you're going to have Momo once again getting away with doing perverted things because of both his position and like his age. And so I think I would love nothing more than see that interaction of Sanji just being like, you lucky bastard. Or just like, I should have went over here instead. I hate you. You're fine. Like, you don't need help. I want to see him interact with Yamato. They made it clear that he was curious. He's like, who's Master Yamato? So maybe that might be the reason he goes there, because he's like, Master Yamato, why are they referring to someone who is helping Momo as master? So maybe he thinks that Momo is under duress and he needs to save him. So I don't know. It's a lot to think about. He may not, because, he may consider Momo a man in his own regard. I know he's a boy, but he may think Momo should be able to hold it down himself. This is the future Shogun. He needs to hold it down. So another interesting thing is if he does go to the basement, a good fight, another good series of good fights for him is going to be, he'll be joining Marco against King Queen, and it looks like Perospero, which I almost forgot to talk about. So I'll go back to that and then forward again. But yeah, it looks like if he does go to the basement to help the Scabbards, he's going to have an interesting fight in terms of that. He'll either end up fighting Perospero, either end up fighting Queen. Queen would be a really nice fight for him. King honestly could be a good fight, but from what we saw earlier, it didn't really seem like he was a match for King. Didn't really seem like he could hang with King. Also, once again, we can't forget that he is really, really injured right now. Like, Black Maria got a bunch of free hits on him, and she's a Toby Rappo, so like, it's not like they were light hits. It's not like, it was something he could brush off. Like, I know he's hurt right now. I know he can still handle stuff. I know he can still throw down, but he is very clearly injured right now. So that's something we have to consider and factor in. Let me go back to the Perospero scene. Really sad. I remember saying this back when I shot the video originally that, definitely Sulong form, Wanda and Carrot could take him. And as true as that seems, it looks like, the weather is blocking the moon, of fucking course. So obviously they reverted back to their regular forms, which were no match for Perospero, unfortunately. Something interesting that happens in that series of panels is Perospero is like, bro, why are you over here mad at me about what Pedro did? Because remember, Pedro blew himself up twice. Yes, it was against the Big Mom Pirates, but like he chose that sacrifice, and they invaded his home, his turf. Like, something Luffy always says is like, he says a bunch of things like there's no rules in a pirate fight, that there but there are other certain rules in pirate fights, and that there's just a certain understanding. And like for Luffy, it's less about good or bad, or it's just about, you know, holding it down, doing what you're supposed to do. And like the risks were known. Yes, Pearl Sparrow is a scumbag. Do not get me wrong, he's a scumbag, but he is spitting right now. He's spitting some facts. Basically, he's saying, "Hey, look, you guys came into our territory, fucked shit up, and y'all shot and we shot back. Y'all started something and we handled it. Y'all started something and we finished it. Like, don't be mad at me. Either like he should have been stronger or he shouldn't have came here." And it's rough. That's really hard to hear. And I feel my heart goes out to Carrot, because like what can she do? She's sitting there, you know, bloodied up, hurt, injured, has to listen to this motherfucker berate her friend who like pretty much raised her, trained her, and like, you know, she had mad love for, and like she just has to hear this. So that situation is rough. So Pearl Sparrow gets there rather quickly. I'm surprised he got there within a chapter. He literally takes care of them and then goes straight there. So I'm wondering about the distance. It can't be too far, but yeah, I think that place is mainly where Sanji is needed. I think as far as Momo goes, Yamato's got his like bodyguard services on lock. Then again, Sanji doesn't know that. Sanji doesn't know Yamato. He only knows Konoichi. Konoichi honestly isn't that strong. Sanji knows that. He may want to protect her. You know, she's not the most attractive, but at the end of the day, she's still a woman. So there's a lot of factors at play. So regardless, either wherever he decides to go, I'm very interested in what's happening, what's gonna happen. I also want to see a Yamato fight. So I almost don't want him to show up where Yamato is, just because if someone comes to stop Yamato and them, she's going to have to fight them, and that'll give her a nice little solo fight, and that'll give us an opportunity to analyze and discuss and see like what she's capable of. I also want to see her transformation. Clearly, when she was about to fight Sasaki, you know, fangs were appearing from her teeth. Something was about to happen, and Sasaki looked a little bit shook. And we're still waiting on that. We're still waiting on a lot of stuff. Like I said earlier, for every question or reveal that Oda gives, there's more questions and more delays to other stuff. And it's like it's frustrating, but like in a good way. Moving on. Yes, honestly, MVP of the chapter. MVP of the chapter has to go out to Marco. Like, honestly, like, bro, it makes nothing but sense. Like, I knew he was strong, but I didn't know he was this strong. I mean, I guess you can't be the first division commander of the Whitebeard Pirates and be a scrub, am I right? But the fact that he is literally single-handedly fighting off both Kaido's number 1 and 2 at the same damn time, is nothing short of impressive. And not only is he fighting them off, it's not like one of those things where he's like just, you know, trying to survive. He's actually fighting back, doing damage to both. They're attacking him. He's dodging, whoosh, sending bluebird flame balls at them, hitting them. We got Queen over here, half cyborg, half Brachiosaurus, sending like laser beams, looking like Godzilla out here. It's rather impressive. I'm really impressed. Like, this is going down like Marco always been that dude, right? Pineapple Head always been that dude, but he's really like, he's really on some put some respect on it type stuff right now. He's really on that. So I'm really liking what's happening with that. It does look like, you know, it's starting to take some kind of, you know, wear and tear on him, especially with the addition of Pearl Sparrow. Like, those two, yeah. Pearl Sparrow, I don't know, man. I don't know, like, if he can do all three. In the grand scheme of things, Pearl Sparrow isn't that strong. He was never one of the sweet commanders. Now, whether that's due to strength or politics, I'll leave that up to you to decide. But he should still maybe be at least if I were to compare it to Kaido's crew, maybe at bare minimum Topirapo level. Who knows? I personally think that maybe he could be a sweet commander level. It's just he kind of like, that's not what he wants to do. He didn't want to be a fighter. He's a strategist. He's a thinker. He's a tactician. That's where he wants to put his talents. So maybe he is sweet commander level. We're about to find out. But say what you will. I'm just not sure Marco can take all three of them. I think that is where Sanji is needed the most, but we will see. Some other stuff going on in the chapter, bro. How is Apu still fighting for these guys? Are you dumb? Like the moment I saw that what's his name? Drake, X Drake swapped over. You would think that he's like, all right, you know what? Like X Drake swapped over, Kid swapped over. Like not really. Like Kid's doing his own thing, but you know he's pretty much allied himself with Luffy. So like pretty much you and Basil Hawkins are the only dumbasses still on Kaido's side from the supernovas. Like, come on, bro. Have some respect for yourself. Like, I know Kaido is that dude, but like, you gotta start seeing that, yo, like, we might not be on the right side. And if anything, if that's not what convinces you, the fact that he's out here poisoning friend and foe alike should make you switch. Bruh, this dude literally had you holding the bag. Bro tossed you the antidote, used you as bait, had people chasing and attacking you, not even helping you. And you're still helping him. So I don't know, man. I don't get it. That's not for me. This dude's a dumbass. I hope someone like, you know, he seemed like a cool character, but he's doing some real whack stuff right now. So that's kind of pathetic. Yo, moving on. My boy Hirogoro though. Hirogoro. So I saw him in kind of like kind of background in one of the panels, and I was like, is that Hirogoro? And I didn't really discuss it back on back in the last video, and I really wish I did. But I was like, but I did at the time. I was taken back because I was like, why does he look like his older self? And so it makes sense. At first I was a little annoyed, but it makes sense. I reread like what the Ice Oni does, and it brings out your latent power. It increases your muscle mass. So it makes sense that he's big again. I'm surprised that he looks exactly the same as he did in his prime, but you know what? That's neither here nor there. It's impressive. It looks like he was a great samurai back in his day. Right now he's putting in the work. I love his holy light technique. And honestly, at this point, anytime I see a samurai do a technique, I'm just excited because I'm like, now that we know that Zoro can quote unquote steal or take techniques, is this just more like fuel for him to get stronger? Is this just more stuff that'll like give him power? So I'm really interested about that. It looks like, however, he's down to the end of his rope. He's about to transform, and he's doing the classic zombie movie, I would rather die than turn. And so we end off with him, you know, pretty much sticking his neck out and saying, finish me, because the moment I go full Oni, there's like, I'm going to slaughter a bunch of you, and like, I don't want that on my conscience. If we can avoid these deaths, like, let's do that. So that's happening. Obviously, it's not going to happen. Oda not going to let it happen. Obvious setup, obvious cliffhanger. Like, if he were to do it, I would be shocked Pikachu face. But my question is, who's going to stop him? It really did not look like Chopper, aka Tanuki-san, was ready with the antidote anytime soon. Does not look like he is, but you know, maybe he was just putting up the finishing touches and then runs over and cures him. But I do think something else is going to happen. We just don't know what yet. There's so much going on. Like if yeah, honestly, there's just so much going on. So much to this chapter. I really do have to like just open up a map of you know, Kaido's castle as well as Onigashima and just like kind of plot where everyone is right now, because so much is happening. And then of it all, we still have to remember, on the rooftop we got Luffy, Kid, Law versus Kaido, Big Mom, and so stuff is happening up there. Luffy is out of commission. Oh, I forgot Zoro, by the way, and Kid. Luffy is out of commission, and I think Kid is taking care of him, because the last we heard, Kid was like, give him to me. So anyway, that's happening. I also said that I believe that his cooldown is a lot shorter. You remember when Gear Third was first introduced, you know, he had that cooldown, then it got shorter, and then eventually he got rid of it. So I think it's that kind of situation here. Anyway, pretty great chapter. I enjoyed it. It's not one of the chapters that gets me hype. It's one of the chapters that gets me prepared for what's going to happen next. I love this chapter. Don't get me wrong. Another great setup chapter for great things to come. So yeah, I just really like we're all over the place with this with just like what's happening right now, and I love it because this is where things get great in One Piece. Every time we get to this point, this happens every arc where like the Straw Hats are just all doing something or the other. It's just a great feeling. The only thing that ever sucks about something like this is just we're just so eager to get to the story. No break next week, so we're gonna get another chapter and then a break after that, unfortunately. But hopefully, because of that, we get a lot in the next chapter. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. If you like this, please like, share, and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And yeah, please let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on this chapter. Please let me know if there's anything I forgot to mention or anything important that you think is going to happen. Let me know your theories. Have you figured out who you think is with the Scabbards? Where do you think Sanji's going to go? You think he's going to go to the Scabbards? You think he's going to go to Momo? What do you think is going to happen to Marco? You think Marco's going to be able to handle all three? Realistically, there's just no way. There's just no way. Especially, like, 2 was already biting it, and they're 2 really powerful people, and now we're going to get the addition of Perospero. So, honestly, when does this act end, bro? When does this act end? Because, like, there's everyone's been saying it's a kabuki play. Kabuki plays have 5 acts, and like the 3rd act usually ends in like some kind of like travesty. Like we have Mr. Morge over there saying he still believes it's gonna end in failure. So like, when does this act even end? And part of me thinks it's gonna be Tokia. She's gonna be playing like, you know, music like her daughter Hiyori. But like, I don't know, dude. I know the video needs to end, but like, I just want to like kind of just like keep thinking about all the possibilities because there's just so many. Like this is gonna go down as a phenomenal art. Anyway, I'm just gonna end it here. Signing out, Otaku Talk OD. Thank you for watching. You guys take care and have a great day.